So to get to the intake manifold, just to take the intake manifold out, you don't have to open any of these bolts here. These are the bolts to access the intake valves, which are operated by these actuators here. So if you don't want to figure out if it's if it's broken, you can open these up. Gets to the intake manifold, you're gonna take this cover off. You have about 5 bolts here. To get to them, you're gonna need a Torx. What number are you? I think 27. So this, zoom in boy, is T27. So you can put in. There we go. Once you got all the bolts loose, you might be able to pick them up with a magnet. This is how long they are. Okay, that one ran away. This one can't. Yeah. You gotta pick all 5 of them out. This one is out. Once you got all 5 of them out, just tap. Alright. Perfect. Right here behind throttle body. So you need to get to the throttle body, take it out, and then you'll get to this bolt that's holding the intake manifold in place. There you go. Intake manifold free. If you have a proper head gasket, you are gonna get new throttle body gasket, because this will break when you try to take it off. Not to forget how old this sucker is. Once you get that bolt out, and before you start take everything out, just walk around, make sure nothing is connected. This vacuum solenoid here has to be disconnected. Don't worry about removing these. Don't worry about removing anything else, because the fuel line is part of it. So we're just gonna go ahead and lift it. One thing about these manifolds is, you know how the standard ones you simply lift up and you'll be done with it? With these guys, you gotta go in an angle, pull it out, because there's a weird design behind this, like that. This is how it comes out. Your injectors, everything is mounted on the intake manifold. This one doesn't have a lower and upper plenum. This is only one piece. And here is the bottom of the motor. So I don't know. Here's the lower plenum for you. There's gaskets behind this. I am going to open this because I'm doing head gaskets. Here's the ignition coil. Let's take out the plugs, see how they look. You know how sometimes you can get away with using regular sockets on this? Unfortunately, on this one, you don't want to try that. Some being so rusted, you might strip the head, and it will just add so much work for you. What you need is a E10, which is like this socket here. E10, and it looks like this. And this fits perfect and saves you a lot of headache. So let's see. and oil in here. So see this side. Side's good. Dry. Let's get to the valve cover. Oh yeah, forgot this bracket here. Very low tolerance valve cover clearance. There we go. Right. Okay. Internally, the engine looks good. So the other side. Okay. There we go. All right. Slice good. Water pump pulley is connected with 10mm bolts. Take those out. Tap on it. I think the customer got new water pumps, so we're going to use that. Pulley does not get replaced. So I took out the tensioner. It's connected by 2 bolts here. The whole tensioner comes out. Right here is the, I think, AC mount bracket with 4 bolts. You take that out. The timing belt cover has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts. And voila. Here's your timing. Let's take a closer look. Okay. Yeah, the belt's pretty, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Belt's old, should be replaced. On the pulley itself, you see timing marks like this guy here, this guy here. Same goes on this side and this side. So if you notice, there's only 1 and 2, 1 and 2. These guys, they're close together. You see? So I'm gonna line those timing marks up. Get this pulley out so I can turn while monitoring the timing marks before I dismantle the entire timing system. We also have a timing tensioner. This one does not have a separate tensioner, hydraulic tensioner to it. It's like old Honda style offset. So you would just have to get a tool to offset the tensioner in place and torque it down. So once you get the pulley out, it's stuck. It doesn't come out easy, so you just get a pry bar behind it and take it out. Now, you know how Honda engines, you can basically line everything up and take the pulley belt out? This engine is not one of them. You can't do that. So what you need to do is line everything up. See this notch here? You see this here? Right. Hold on. So you need to line up this perfectly with this notch. See that? This one is lined up. If it does not, turn it clockwise until it lines up. There are 2 other things you need to check. Is you need to check your camshaft pulley right here lining up. Camshaft pulley right here lining up. There's this cutout in the timing cover. So line this up here. Line this up here. You can see. And then line this up. Now before you go on trying to loosen this, you see the camshafts have these fastener type fittings. So there's a tool that slides onto the camshafts, locking them in place. That way the cams don't move when you're servicing it. So you can see the belt has dry rot. So I'm glad we're replacing this guy. You have two tensioners that are adjustable. You see number 1 and number 2. This is the bolt that you're going to loosen. This is the bolt you're going to tighten to move around to adjust your timing. So you can see when the belt is installed, the play area is very little. That's what you need to keep an eye on. To get the cylinder heads out, you do have to remove the belt, because of this black cover back here is the one wrapped up around the cam gears. So you do have to remove the cam gears. For that, the only way you could do it is hold the cams with the open wrench and use T50 to open your cams. You definitely need to lock these cams in place when putting a new belt on, because it has to be torqued on the both tensioners. This one has a tensioner right here and right here. You have to tension this side with this tensioner and this side with this tensioner. You see the bolt that came out of there? Yeah, they're not messing around. This bolt probably goes through half the camshaft. So there we go, second one. Let's go with this guy. This is shorty. Let's go to this one here. And this is shorty. Good. Now gently pull the cams out. There we go. You see the difference? Here we go. The reason behind these camshafts having longer fitting behind than this size is how all the V8, V6 engines are set up this way. So when you look at from top, you will see the bank 1 is way forward than the bank 2. This is number one way to tell if you have which side is bank 1. So bank 1 is here, cylinder number 1 here. This is bank 2, which is more back. That's cylinder number 2, or however the firing order is. So bank 1 is always forward. Bank 2 is always behind. That's why they added the spacer back there. To take this cover off, you have one bolt here, one here. Same here. You have one right here. And then you have this guy to remove. I think the cover should come off nice and easy. All right. This right here is your knock sensor cable. If you're replacing it, go for it. If not, leave it alone. Marks here indicate engine coolant. Next thing, what you need to do is take the head bolts out. To do that, this part's easy. You can get from here. But this side, you actually have to take the camshaft out, because right underneath the cam. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 of them are underneath the cam. This one right here you can get to without taking the cam off. Same goes on the other side. You can get the top one without taking the cam off. The bottom one's directly under the cam. You can see right here. So this cam shaft has to come off. You got the first cylinder head out. So let's take a look inside. Looks like the engine was sitting for a little bit. A small amount of rust build up. Anyway, so I have to clean up the engine block surface with a razor blade. Clean it up really well. This could have been a problem area. Never mind. Okay, so I wanted to replace this, but the customer did not bring me anything for it. Let's get going. This probably is a thermostat housing. So if they got me thermostat, perfect. If not, I will replace this at this time because that's a freaking impossible to get to. So like you said, when you take the camshaft out, you have perfect access to the bolts. They're heavily torqued, so it does take a extension or a longer ratchet to get to it.